Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and today is October the 3rd. I'm going to do your spiritual principle a day in a meditation with you now. I'm brought to you by Hope Through Navigation, and this is our H.O.O.D recovery services. If you need to reach me, feel free to do so at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends, those that are recovery oriented and would enjoy this podcast. Okay, let's go ahead and get into that meditation. We're looking for the spiritual principle a day meditation. Looks like it might be deep. All right. Always stay ready to be ready, right? Okay, let's look at this. Surrendering to group conscience. How do you know when it's time to speak up against a decision of the majority? When it's time to accept a decision and surrender to group conscience? 12 concepts for NA service, study materials, ninth concept. Once a group or service body makes a decision, we are all supposed to go with the flow, right? But what if the decision goes against our gut, isn't in harmony with the traditions, lacks compassion by excluding some members, or puts a band-aid on a larger issue? Maybe the decision wasn't made with all pertinent information available. Was it truly an informed group conscience, or was it more like a popularity contest? What if we know for sure that the content of the decision has been tried before and it failed miserably? What if the group is wrong and we are right? We have a process, and once that process is complete, to thwart group conscience creates disunity and confusion. Members then have to take sides or not. Some leave the group or resign from their position instead, telling us personal recovery depends on NA unity on the way out. The ninth concept of NA service is clear that hearing all points of view is essential to developing a group conscience. But it's up to us as members to determine which perspectives have the most validity. The time to accept and surrender to a decision occurs immediately after our point of view has been heard and the group elects to stay the course, despite what our gut is telling us. If we are right and things fall apart later, we can be part of the solution with humility. Even as we are reminded time and again that we're not always right, we must also accept that others are sometimes wrong, and there isn't anything we can do about it. Today, I will participate in NA service with as much surrender and acceptance as possible. If need be, I will say to my group, well, I hope I'm wrong, and do my best to mean it. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful meditation, one that not everyone is ready for, because sometimes we think during doing service work that we have to hold on to that knot at the end of the rope, especially when we're not agreeing with other people. But we have to remember that it's a group conscience. The only time it's not fair, or I want to say the right thing to surrender to group conscience is, I believe, if you have not voiced your opinion. And if you choose not to do it once the decision is made, it's not the time to talk about the decision as though you contributed your opinion, your perspective. So we don't get to play the stick on both ends. right? When we're involved with service, it's important that when it's on the floor and we're having the discussion about what we should do, whether people are going to agree with you or not, like you or not, a lot, like it said here, a lot of times these things are more about personality than actual validity, right? And so it's our responsibility. It's yours, it's mine, it's each individual that is involved in that decision making to voice the opinion that needs to be voiced, their own. And then when it goes down to a vote, you're free to vote against it. It's not like it has to be a unanimous decision. Everyone has to agree. It has to be a majority. Unless, of course, the group determines that it needs to be unanimous, which means basically they don't want anyone to feel like their opinion hasn't been weighed out, right? But in essence, when you're doing service work, and this is why I believe that a substantial amount of time is good to be able to do service work on certain levels. If there's enough individuals in your group that have clean time, to be able to go to area and engage area. Because when you're doing, and it doesn't even have to be area, it could just be your business meeting, right? Because your representative from your business, from your group, is going to take your vote, right, to the area level. And if you're not engaged in that, you have no right to sit back on your laurels complaining about what decision came down, about when and how to do a certain event. Come on, right? We're not talking about trying to pass out water to the homeless and have meals ready for the elderly. Most of our decisions are about how best to carry our message to the person not only in the in the room, but the one that hasn't made it to the rooms yet. We're talking about things that will make us more accessible. And so everyone has an opinion, and every opinion matters. But if we're not willing to contribute and share our opinion when the decision is made, that's the time to surrender. That's the time to accept a decision and let it go and not backstab, the business meeting. I can't believe they no, people, let's grow up and let's be genuine and authentic when we're in these meetings. The more mature individual shows up a lot of times in these meetings because it takes a lot sometimes to even endure them. But if you're not willing to contribute, don't be willing to complain, right? I hope that this has helped you to understand that this is not always an easy thing to do, but group conscience is really what rules. And you have to be a part of that in the process and not after the process. My name is MightyStream. I hope this has been helpful, and I will be talking to you tomorrow. I want you to have a beautiful day on purpose.